surrounded by men who once feared him. Muammar Gaddafi, the self-proclaimed King of Kings, once untouchable, now hunted. But before the fall, there was the rise, and it was nothing short of legendary. This is Muammar Gaddafi, the self-proclaimed King of Kings. In the burning heart of the Libyan desert in 1942, a boy was born to a nomadic Bedouin tribe. He herded goats. He slept under the stars. He listened to stories of resistance and revenge. His name was Muammar Gaddafi. He had no wealth, but he had something more dangerous, a dream. Gaddafi wasn't born into power. He was born into silence, a silence broken only by the winds of the desert and the memories of war. He watched his family humiliated under colonial rule. He heard stories whispered in tents of resistance, betrayal, and survival. To most, Libya was a forgotten land, but to Gaddafi, it was sacred ground. He didn't just want to lead it, he wanted to redeem it. In classrooms, he clenched his fists, learning of Italian oppression. In military academies, he devoured the words of Nasser and Che Guevara. He wasn't just training to fight. He was training to take a nation. Libya was rich in oil, but poor in dignity. Ruled by a monarchy, controlled by the West. Gaddafi vowed to change that, and on September 1st, 1969, he did. Tanks in Tripoli, soldiers in the palace. The king fled. At just 27, Gaddafi had seized a nation. He expelled foreign troops, nationalized Libya's oil, poured wealth into the people, free healthcare, free education, women in schools. Libya became a symbol of African pride, and Gaddafi, a hero to the oppressed. But he didn't just want to lead, he wanted to redefine power itself. He wrote the Green Book. Democracy was a lie, he claimed. Capitalism, a disease. He called for a new world, ruled not by kings or congresses, but by the people themselves. But Gaddafi's war wasn't just against kings or capitalism. It was against invisibility, against a world order where Africa's voice was a whisper. He once said, "Let the world hear us, not as colonies, but as a continent." He wanted more than national pride. He wanted Africa to become a force. To him, oil was not just fuel, it was leverage, power. And with it, he believed he could bend empires. When the Arab world rejected him, he turned south to Africa, his true home. He dreamed of a United States of Africa, one currency, one military, one voice. To some, he was a visionary. To others, a dangerous madman. But no one ignored him. Not everyone welcomed his vision. Some African leaders saw a liberator. Others saw a manipulator. They questioned his motives, wondered if unity was just another crown he wished to wear. Gaddafi didn't just fund revolutions. He brokered alliances, played enemies against each other, and cultivated loyalty with cash. He was loved. was never ignored. But even revolutionaries fear revolt. Dissenters disappeared. Protests were crushed. Enemies were silenced. Outside, the world watched. Accusations grew. Terrorism, bombings, Lockerbie. In Washington, they called him the Mad Dog of the Middle East. In 1986, U.S. bombs struck Tripoli. Gaddafi emerged from the rubble, bloodied but smiling. He would not be killed so easily. Time passed. The people changed, but Gaddafi did not. Sanctions, repression, fear. The man who once gave power now held it in an iron grip. Then came the Arab Spring, and Libya burned again. Gaddafi vowed, "I will fight to the last drop of my blood." NATO struck. Cities fell. His empire crumbled, and the King of Kings ran. October 20th, 2011. Captured in a drain. Dragged into the light. Beaten. Killed. As rebel forces closed in, Tripoli fell into chaos. Streets that once hosted parades now echoed with gunfire. His golden statues were pulled down, burned, spat on. His palaces were looted. The faces of his regime vanished, many into hiding, others into the earth. Gaddafi's voice, once broadcast across the desert, was now reduced to static. And for the first time in 4 decades, Libya was without its lion. Was he a visionary or a tyrant? A liberator or a monster? To some, he gave Libya pride. To others, he ruled with fear. But one truth remains. Gaddafi changed Africa, and Africa changed him. His green book burned. His statues fell, but his shadow still lingers. The sands of history bury the footprints of kings, but their shadows remain. If you felt this story, if it made you feel proud, angry, inspired, then share it. Comment, and subscribe to African Heroes and Villains, because these stories matter, and you're part of keeping them alive. This is African Heroes and Villains, the history they didn't teach you, told the way it was meant to be seen.